My name is Nathan Mott. I'm a multi-season challenger and jungle coach. This is my challenger versus Emerald series where I bring on a guest and we compare their game in challenger to an Emerald game with that same champion. My guest today is Shernfire. We'll be covering Pantheon. Shernfire is currently boot camping in Korea, sitting at 1400 LP top 70 on the Korean ladder. He's achieved rank 1 on EU server, NA server with multiple counts in top 10. He's also been on notable organizations as a professional player, such as Team Liquid and Cloud9. Let's get into it. All right, so Shern, let's start with Pantheon's build. So looking through your match history here, Shern, what's a good game we should start with of like you think is a very standard cookie cutter build, and then we can sort of talk about some adaptations you do in your builds. So which one here you think we should start with?
It's probably all going to be very similar. I would say there's two things you can look at that you can have different variations on. It's the 14 and 5 game above there, and then the loss on the 14 and 3 game. Below.
Loss 14-3 and below. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the 14-5.
Yeah, two different variations. So it's always going to be Sundered Sky. Now you're probably wondering why you don't go Yomu's or Lethality. The reason why is just basically your champion identity has changed a lot over the couple patches where it's gotten buffed, because now your W and E empowered are much more useful than your empowered Q. And so you really want to be utilizing your power W and E, so you need a little bit of survivability. It gives you everything, the haste, the health, the AD, and the survivability on the passive on Sundered Sky to allow you to get your full rotation off without worrying about getting one shot. Whereas Lethality won't allow you to do that, but your Q will do more damage. But it's not the worthy trade-off, basically.
Do you go Yellow Trinket and Red Smite every single game?
No, so the way I like to think about it is red pet if you don't need to gap close and they're coming on you. So for this game, I am versing 4 melee champs, right? So it's not necessary for me to chase people down because they're going to go on me or my teammates. Different game, I'm going to go blue pet because I need a gap close. So that's the basic thought process.
I see. So basically, Red Smite against heavy melee champions or champions that come into you. Blue Smite against ranged champions or champions you need to more so chase.
100%.
And a lot of champions in the jungle don't take health potion for their clears and stuff like that. Do you take health potion because we need to battle a lot, or you need it, it's not healthy for your clear? Do you take health potion every game?
Yeah, so I guess we're continuing the trend here. Another variation. I'll go health pot if I'm invading level 1. And then if I know I'm going to full clear, I won't go health pot.
Tunneler, is that your ideal first base? Is that what you're sort of looking for every game? You said Sundered Sky is obviously what we're going most games. So Tunneler, is that the best ideal first base?
Another variation here. So triple longsword or Tunneler. But it depends on if you're going to be the target of choice or your teammates. So basically, if you think about your second sequence, which means your second full clear, that's usually when there's going to be altercation, right? Because the first dragon's spawning or the first grubs are spawning. And so you want to be thinking about, do I need the health in the skirmish or can I get away with more AD? Because essentially, if you can get away with it, you should be going triple longsword on your first base.
Okay. So walk me through the rest of the build here. So this one here looks like we're building our serpents into Black Cleaver.
Yeah, so the components is important here because you always want to go pickaxe longsword, whether you're building Black Cleaver or Serpent's Fang, for the raw AD, just because of the AD scalings, it's just so good on Pantheon. And now this is also going to be the reason why there's two different builds, because this build right here, where I go Shield Cut Serpent's Fang, is only for obviously versing shield champions, right?
So if this game is Echo, does this guy have Eclipse?
Eclipse,
is that why you're doing it?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's always going to go Eclipse. Ezreal's going to get Barrier, and Leona's going to get Locket.
I see.
And Fiora is not going to have a shield, but the raw stats on the item makes up for the fact that, yes, like you could say it's not very applicable, but you'll find you'll find the raw stats itself is also going to be great as well, regardless. So I wouldn't, again, I'm not going to build it if there's literally no shields, but if I have an excuse to build it, like I have multiple excuses here, I'm definitely gonna build it.
It looks like you build serpents like every game here. So they're just shields every game. That's a serpents game. Serpent, serpent,
I know,
serpent,
right?
serpents.
Just look at the little, yeah, look at the little things, right? It's like Lux
Rise,
W. There's always a
Lux.
barrier. Yeah, Saras Embrace. Um, like Shen ult, right? Center ult, Vi passive, Vex
So let's
W.
just look at
Yeah,
the percentage of games. So you went through a streak of like not much serpents, and then maybe that was just a interesting streak. But maybe you could say maybe 60% of your games, 70% of games, you're finding you build serpents. Do you think that's fair, or you think that might just be a?
no,
I mean, this is
it's
literally every
fair.
game.
There's so much shields in every single game. Like you got Yone shield bow plus his passive. Like I'm just every single champion I'm looking at, there's some opportunity to shield cut.
Okay, so if you're not building serpents second, then it's black cleaver second, like this build here. So black cleaver, and then something like a Sterak's and GA. So you're building GA here, so you
Yes,
go black cleaver and then GA. Okay.
yes. And something to note that you guys should notice here is that I don't build my tier two boots until my second after my second item.
Mm.
It's really big right now because since the new patch, the game slowed down a lot. Like you don't actually fight after your first item until 20 minutes, basically, if you don't want to. Like Herald isn't a must get. Like six grubs was a terrible nightmare to deal with if uh, if they got it. But now on the current patch, there's no objective where you have to contest it. So there's a lot of trading going on. So essentially, during that downtime, tier two boots is doesn't make a lot of sense when you're just going to be farming efficiently a lot of the time.
And this is, I guess, where magical footwear just feels so nice with the build. Looks like you're just getting raw stats, stat checking people, shitloads of AD, and then you build, and then you build the tier two boots. I find that feels really nice to build tier two boots not after your first item, like second item here. Like any chat that I can
100%.
do this, it feels so good, right? Especially with magical
When you
footwear.
spike, yeah, when you get two items and the guy has tier two boots and 1.5 items, there's a big gap. That tier two boots doesn't matter when you have two items.
So this game here, you're building GA. Looks like next. When do you decide between GA and Sterak? So this build, you looks like do you go Sterak into GA every time when you're skipping the serpents?
Yeah, because of the fact that I'm going cleaver second, I need to supplement that with Serix. Just because I'm going down the same, road of DPS instead of burst. Whereas you go serpents, you're less likely to end up going Sterix because, well, you're not complementing the item, right? You're building like full damage, no health, so Sterix won't make sense with the serpents build. But when you go cleaver, Sterak's makes a lot of sense, and then GA on top of that for the extra rotation. If you do get popped on the GA, you're probably going to have another W ready, right? Which is going to be amazing.
I see. So the GA helps you get 2 rotations of spells in fights at minimum.
Essentially, yeah.
I see. Okay. Cool. I'm just trying to find like actual full builds, like because a lot of people maybe say, "Well, Shern, I'm getting to 40, 35 minutes. What are some finishing items I'll do here?" But most of your games don't go that long. So what would you finish off here with Shern?
Here, I would go Death Stance, just because it gives you the same complement with the Cleaver and Sterak's, just extra survivability. And if you do get a reset, like you pretty much won the fight. When you get a Death Stance reset with this DPS build, no one is stopping you from continue to march forward and poke at people's hearts.
All right, so let's talk about the runes now. Is this cookie cutter? You go this every single game?
Yeah, I modified it. I've modified it for my own gameplay. I think the variations are between Coop and Cut Down, but I go Cut Down because I actually find that I initiate the fight most of the time, right? You think about Pantheon, you think about his kit, you're probably going in first, so they're going to be healthy a lot of the time. The only time you clean up is when you're already winning, but then the argument is if you're already winning, right? Uh, the game's won anyway. It's not about the runes. So let's say you're in an even game, most of the time you are going to go in first and you're not cleaning up. But you could argue for Coop, if you want to be the solo carry, it's going to, help your Q execute, right? Which is going to be amazing. So it's
So
just a
these are the
choice.
only two you switch between.
100%.
So maybe you would recommend maybe for a beginner Pantheon or whatever, this is just fine to go coup de grace. And if you feel like you're
Yes.
more advanced or you're finding you're going in first a lot of the time, cut down's better for that.
Yes, that's a good way to think about it. And then you've got double adaptive on the other side, which is a variation that I've been experimenting with a lot. And I've come to the conclusion that it's really important to just, when you're thinking about a champion's runes and, well, masteries, they don't exist, but that's a throwback, but runes, you really want to be thinking about how the champion utilizes the adaptive in a fight, not for your clear. Because a clear being 5 seconds difference doesn't matter. And like it's not the biggest deal. It's about how the fight turns out. And realistically, in a fight, when you combo, you only auto attack once in the whole fight. So if you jump on someone, slash them with your empowered W, QE, you don't have windows to auto there. So that's why we have the ability haste and the double adaptive instead of any alacrity or attack speed.
All right, and then obviously magical footwear, cosmic insight. That's just because again you've explained because you like to rush the boots, rush your items, and then you get your boots tier 2 here, and then cosmic insight. I guess that just helps your flash cooldown, right? There's anything really else to get in this tree, is there?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't try it because, I mean, you could go tonic, but I think, yeah, flash cooldowns. Like a lot of the time, if you're playing a close game, often you're gonna need the flash up as much as possible because you're going in a lot and you're gap closing a lot.
Okay, skill order now, Shern. Is this what we go every game? So it looks like we start with E. Is that just because it helps you clear camps? Is this like a...
Nah, I got cheese this game.
Oh, okay. So let's look at a real game.
So yeah, E is really
Q
good
start.
if they try to cheese you. But yeah, it's always going to be Q start. You start W level 1 as well if you want to cheese them and like invade or something. Late invades you still start Q for the execute. We'll talk about that later, but Pantheon has a guaranteed smite basically on every champion in the game, besides maybe a Z. And yeah, W empowered is really good just for the cheese invades. E empowered is really good level 1 for surviving like HEs because of the shield and movement speed and resistances. But other than that, it's always going to be Q start, even if you start a buff.
So Q, W, and then so Q max, W max second, and then E last. And
Yep.
why is it W over E?
W over E is just because of what it gives you when you level up. Basically, W is your bread and butter as well, but you can't max W because it's too long of a cooldown, right? If you could max it up, if it was a low cooldown, I would probably max W over Q, but the cooldown's too long, so Q is your main ability because of the short cooldown, but W is your next best offensive weapon, and that's the main reason.
And the blue smite here, this is a good example here of a blue smite game, right? When you switch between red and blue, you're against a very heavy range comp here, right? Lulu, Callista, Elise, and Talia. So this is, I guess, why you go this.
No, I'm versing. I mean, those are my teammates, but
Oh, those are my teammates. Whoops.
I'm versing a double range bot lane and Zinzar, which I want to space because he really wants to like be inside me, like and knock me up and stuff, and I want to create space. So that's pretty much the reason. But yeah, the bot lane especially, like very hard to get on.
If the game was flipped, this like let's say if you're the Pantheon here, you would go blue smite, right?
Yeah. 100%.
If you're serious about improving in ranked and want to join a community of like-minded people, as well as get access to a bunch of really useful resources covering mindset, how to climb, tier lists, head over to our school community. Free to join, wtl.lol/school, or join in the description below. All right, Shern, so let's go over some combos with Pantheon. How do we maximize damage with this champion and some general tips and tricks? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so the first thing is you need to like consistently attempt to have an full empowered. That's like really the most important thing because of your slash and your ability to give yourself an extra 3 stacks. So just like this, instantly 3 stacks. Really important for, and you can see here, Conqueror, right? 8 stacks instantly. That's like insane.
That's why Conqueror synergizes really well.
Yeah, and you don't go PTA. Although PTA procs instantly too, it's just not, doesn't scale as well, right? PTA is really good in theory, but just doesn't scale as well.
So is it any auto attack WQ gives you a stack? You're trying to get to 3 stacks. Is that what you're trying to do? And then press Q.
So I'm basically trying to get to 5 stacks instantly after my W. So auto WQ auto, that's going to be 5 stacks. The bread and butter combo when you're actually fighting is going to be W auto Q E auto and then Q.
Your Q will back off cooldown.
Yes. The reason why we don't empower Q, guys, is because once again, Pantheon's been buffed like multiple times on his W and E, and it's just too valuable to take over extra damage, right? Extra damage is really good if you think you're going to kill them, but in an even fight, right? You really want to be utilizing your empowered W and E for one, right? The amount of damage and the stack reset, and then E is just going to be for the movement speed and resist for you to chase or to disengage, like either one.
So each ability has an empowered aspect of it. Do you want to run through all of them?
Yeah, so Q is going to be the same. It's sort of like Kha'Zix, where when you use empower, like your evolution Q,
it's called Mortal Will. Is that what it's called? Mortal Will.
Yes. No, Comet Sphere.
Oh, so I mean the passive.
Oh yes,
will.
yes.
So the passive is the Mortal Will that gets you the stacks. Once you get that to 5 stacks, you have an empowered ability, and then so this is the Mortal Will bonus. So yeah, I guess what are the Mortal Will bonuses for Q, W, and E?
Yeah, so Q is essentially just extra damage, but whether they're using your empowered Q or you're using a normal Q, it doesn't really matter. Because you still get your passive on the Q, which is if they're below 20% health, you do insane amount of damage, execute damage. So regardless, it's still going to be only useful if you're looking to execute someone, right? Whereas W now is you're gonna get the empowered slash where you do percent max health. It's really nice for scaling, right? This is why this champion doesn't fall off anymore, compared to what other people might think about how Pantheon was viewed as an early game champion in the past. This is made at scaling, right? So now you have percent max health. That scales with your own health. And this is going to be really, really good. Just because, once again, you're going to get the stacks as well. So the 3 stacks is the important part. And the animation is also a lot better, right? Like when you do a normal stun, it feels like you're stuck. I mean, you guys will feel it yourself, but it feels very hard. It feels a lot less smoother to combo. And yeah, so the empowered E is going to be the really big difference where you're going to get the movement speed and resist and armor.
So this becomes really tanky. You become really tanky. Yeah. So you want to be sort of empowered E when people are starting to target you. Is that the idea?
You want to time your E with ranged abilities, essentially, yeah. I'm saying ranged because most of the time you're going to be jumping on the melee champ, and then there's going to be people around here that are going to be hitting you, right?
Makes sense, yeah.
Or you're just, but you're timing your E with your opponent's abilities that you're jumping on.
And so you would say most of the, if you want to maximize your damage, it's empowered W. That's what you're going to be using most of the time.
Yeah,
unless they're in execute range. Unless they're in execute range.
If they're execute range, you're always going to try to use empowered Q.
Empowered Q. Okay, that makes sense. And because, so I guess, so the empowered W, the stacks is what you really value. So then you can get a second empowered ability off in the fight as well really quickly.
Yeah, that's the key there.
Okay, is there anything else we need to know? Or is this champion quite simple in terms of maximizing your damage?
No, so one thing that's regardless of combos is, let's say you're doing a camp, you really want to make sure you end up clearing the camp where you don't need to use your Q anymore, as you can see, right? You want to leave the jungle with 5 stacks, right? A lot of people just like mess up and they'll end up having no stacks, and you're going to end up feeling like this champ's useless, right? If you just leave the jungle with no stacks.
So you can just sit on a 5 stacks, just auto attack things. As long as you don't use an ability, you can just hold your stacks.
Yeah, so you need to time your abilities. Yeah.
Does it last forever? Okay, last forever. Okay, so I guess it's sort of like charging up. You're like sort of charging yourself up from camps, I guess, is the way you think about it.
Yeah, and another thing to add on to that is, if you do end up, mistiming your camps, you still want to get to 5 stacks, right? Let's say I'm walking out, I'm still going to be using my Q actively to get my 5 stacks, and now I'm ready to engage in any conflict.
Okay. Do you want to walk through your ultimate? How does the ultimate work, Sharon? What's the range differences? Does the range differences increase by level, like Nocturne, level 6, 11, and 16?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Your ultimate is very difficult to hit. So basically, let's say someone.
What are some principles?
So let's say you're ganking bot. Let's say the person is, no, that's too far. Like, usually you want to ult when they're actually overextended, because you're not going to actually hit your ult. You can, but it's pretty low percentage, right? So what you really want to do is see them commit. Let's say, what does commitment mean, right? Maybe it's a last hit on a minion. Maybe it's a Lucian using his dash. Maybe it's a Kai'Sa using his E, right? Whatever the commitment spell you see, that's when you need to go. And when you go, you don't aim for the target. You need to aim for where he will move, right? So
anticipating where he's going to walk.
Movement prediction, yes. And then you need to close the gap on that. So let's say there's 2 options. He walks left or he walks right when he sees my ultimate. So you need to be able to predict where he's going to move. So let's say he's in this position. He's used his dash ability. I'm going to ulti back here, because the likelihood he's going to go left side is going to be really low. And notice how, obviously we're versing a dummy, but you might hit the circle, but that's not the point. You really just need to be in W range where you don't have to use other means to gap close.
Okay. All right, anything else, Shem, before we jump into the gameplay?
Yeah, so for combos, we've got WQE, auto Q for like a damage combo.
And you're getting 2 empowered abilities off in that combo, right?
Yeah, every single time, regardless, I'm getting 2 empowered because I start with W. The highest damage combo is going to be auto. Oh shit! Hold on. Is gonna be a melee auto. So jumping on someone is actually not ideal. You want to actually start with an auto, cancel your animation, as you can see there, and cancel your E early so you can auto attack again. It's almost like you're doing a little headbutt, right? When you E auto, it's like you're doing a little headbutt. Like when you cancel your E again, you're gonna do the end range of damage. So there's 2 parts. There's the E with the damage in the cone, and then there's the slap at the end.
I see. So this will be very, very effective when people are walking into you, like face checking you. You start with an auto attack.
Or they're chasing you. Yes, or they're chasing you.
Yeah. So that's to maximize your damage. Do you want to walk through? You talk about how to cancel the animation. So you're talking about cancel the E animation there. Is that right? So
no, just the W. The W animate gives you a free auto attack reset, basically.
I see.
So on the empowered, if I auto W, like I can instantly W basically, right?
So you pressing a keybind for that, or?
No, I'm just pressing auto W, but I'm just A left clicking. But the thing is if you do it normal W, auto W, it still works sort of similar, but you can see how I get like sort of stuck in motion when I do a normal auto W.
Oh, so it's
Like
like looks clunky. It's like clunky.
yes, exactly. Like it does. Whereas this feels really good, right? When I just do this, like you
Yeah,
almost
that's
don't even see the
quick.
auto attack,
Yeah.
right? So that's a big difference, right? Because you get 10 stacks of Conqueror straight away instead of 8, and then you're almost to 10 after your E or your first Q. One last thing I'll say about the combos is if you're looking to do a combo where you're looking to just play the fight out extended, you want to be looking to save your E, right? This is you're not gonna get more than one E in a fight ever, right? It's 22-second cooldown. It's probably like 18 with like items, some of this kind of stuff. But realistically, you only have one shot to use your E. That's how you should think about it. So if you're not actually dodging abilities, you should just keep hitting him, and then you can press your E later down the line, right? If you're in an actual team fight.
So
Like
a big thing I'm hearing here in terms of reviewing your fights is like, did I use E too early? Did I just waste my E? And
yeah,
be comfortable just holding your empowered E. It sounds like in some situations, like you can just auto attack and just queue people to death, force them to come into you, and then you can come and then then you can use your empowered ability. Is that the idea?
yeah, exactly.
So you see a lot of people rush their empowered abilities a lot. It's like, oh my god, empowered ability! I was
No,
going to
I
rush
see
the fight.
myself.
Yeah,
I
you
see
do it
myself.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you really need to recognize your E is really good for damage, right? You do the headbutt thing and then you auto after the E cancel after you cancel E. But sometimes you're in an even fight where the fight isn't exactly going your like isn't clearly going your way. So you really need to make sure like when you E, you're either Eing because you've won the fight or you're blocking real damage or real abilities fighting you. If not, it's just better to save it.
All right, great stuff. Let's jump into the gameplay now, Shern, and look at all
Yeah.
this implemented in real time. All right, so Shern, first I want to start off asking you some general Pantheon questions. I'll sort of let this play through. The first thing is why did Pantheon start becoming a popular jungler? Why is Pantheon sort of a jungler now? You know, he's sort of been a bit of a niche pick, but now it's starting to look like this champ might be here to stay. What changed with Pantheon?
It's just the little buffs throughout the patch notes that made him sleeper, and then the little nerfs to all the main junglers like Wukong, all the main AD junglers, Lee Sin. What else we got? Xin Zhao.
Xin Zhao.
Yeah, there's all the little nerfs, and then obviously the Faded Ashes nerfs that made AP junglers a lot less viable, right? Where it was AP jungle dominated for a long time. Now it's like the AD meta. You can still play AP, but essentially, what's made, in my opinion, this patch Pantheon, when it all comes together, why he's very good right now is because the pace of the game slowed down a lot. So your ultimate's gonna have more value because you're gonna have more turns, right? To AFK farm, ulti, AFK farm. Whereas the double grub situation, right? You're just fighting every single objective, and Pantheon's not actually good at 1v1s, right? A lot of the time, on the old patch, you fight over two grubs. You're in standoffs a lot of the time, and you don't actually win 1v1 against a lot of bruisers. So that's basically why Pantheon, I feel, has become very, very good.
So that sort of ties in a little bit here. What are the reference points with Pantheon? What are you thinking about in terms of like how do we consistently win games with this champion? What are your strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, so there's two ways to play this champion as far as the early game. The first way to play the champion is level one invades because you have a guaranteed smite against almost every single champion. The other way is to think about it as a normal champion, right? As when people play, sort of, people have this idea of a champion like Lee Sin, or for example, they think you have to just permanently gank, right? Or
Get in the
um,
enemy jungler's face or invade them
yes,
or like make the game chaotic. Because
yes,
the theory is you drop off, right? You're an early game
yes.
jungler.
Yes, but that's not the case with Pantheon. I think that's an old idea and actually scale very well. So you notice here, I'm actually doing an 8 camp clear. So the idea is that basically you're either going to be efficiently full clearing, obviously look for any opportunities available, or you're just going to look to be very aggressive level 1, right? That's why the versatility is what makes me, I guess, drawn towards the champion, other than the fact that it's just really, really good.
So when will you decide between doing an 8 camp clear and sort of full clearing versus invading? Is that a lot got to do with the jungle matchup or your team comp, their team comp? What are you looking for when you're deciding to invade?
Yeah, so literally all of the above. So level 1 invades, it's always going to be champions that I don't want to full clear with me, so that I can punish, like a Zyra, a Lilia, a any scaling champion essentially. That usually it's going to be tend to be AP champs, maybe a Zed because Zed's level 1 is really bad, uh, or maybe Raptors the Grump, right? Anything to do with a smite contest, it's in my favor. So that idea,
And that's because
but
timing with your
yeah,
Q, right? You're talking about your Q. Your Q's like acts like it's a
execute.
smite. The smite, the
Yep,
execute, yeah.
it's the combo is just too strong for anyone to deal with.
So why didn't you invade this comp for this game, for example?
Yeah, because Jarvan is equally as strong as me, and he has scouting, a free scout every 10 seconds, right? With
With his E, his flag.
exactly. Yeah, and I don't see a reason to either split the map on either side or to create a situation where, uh, yeah, I'm forcing on one side and he gets to go to the other side essentially.
Okay, let's jump into the gameplay here now, Shred. So let's go back here. Is there a certain place, level 1, you like to use your ward or run out of the map? Do you always just come and defend your raptors? Like, what's your idea level 1 with this champion?
Yeah,
If you're not
always
invading,
always defending my Raptors.
both
Just
sides of the map.
both sides of the map. Yep, and then if I'm looking to invade, I'm looking to ward their Raptors and almost like fake, right? I'm either going to misdirect, where I go to one side and then go back to the other, or I'm going to get in their face, ward, and then leave and then come back after. Because if I know let's say I ward their entrance,
You mean their
they
raptors entrance here?
yes, I can see if they've warded their own Raptors entrance, right? That's information itself. So knowing that they haven't warded is information, right? That I can utilize. So using the ward to scout for basically other wards and the Raptor respawn at the same time is two big reasons why I do that when I invade instead of like telling my team to all 5 men and come.
And if you're defending here, would you just be happy to hold your wards? Like, why do you just hold your ward early game and not switch out to sweep or whatever it is? Do you hold it for after you're clear to get
Because
aggressive?
I win every smite battle. It doesn't matter if I get surprised, right? Because I
Okay.
win every smite battle.
So you're just happy to just save up 2 wards. That's fine for you.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the 8 camp clear. We'll talk about how you clear the raptors in a moment. But just for people that don't understand what the 8 camp clear is, shown, it's raptors into Krugs, into red, into wolves, into gromp, into blue. And the idea is you want to get all your little camps off the map first, and ideally, and try and delay your buffs because they spawn longer. And then you're staying on the map to do raptors and Krugs after you finish the crab or whatever it is, and then you're recalling to go back to the wolves. Is that the idea of 8 camp clear?
Yeah, and vice versa. You can do the same thing on Wolf's Grump, Blue, and then do the
Wolves,
exact same thing.
gromp, blue. So why do you 8 camp clear every game and not start a buff as Pantheon?
It gives you versatility, but it also locks you in. But it gives you versatility to attack on the timers where laners eventually get whittled down, right? You think about how people lane, you think about the times where it's actually volatile. It's either level 1 to 2, right? Some bot lanes all in, right? Where no jungler can be there because they're in between the second and third camp. Where both bot lanes are trying to all in for level 2, right? But other than that, solo lanes, right? Top, you don't. People voluntarily die, uh, rather than when they play the matchup properly, right? When does the things actually get spicy? It's usually past the end of the full clear, not 3 minutes, but like 4 minutes, right? Or 450. So the timing allows you to be there on the map when things might get spicy, essentially.
So by 450, you're saying like you're still going to be doing things on the map around. You don't need to recall for items, and you're healthy after you're clear anyway. So you're on the
I'm
map for Raptors,
flexible.
Krugs, and maybe you can do some things on your
Yes.
respawns. Okay.
And if nothing happens, I'm still being efficient. So that's a big thing. Like I'm not sitting in a bush and my grumps respawns, right, from my full clear, and I'm still sitting in the bush because I want to stay, right? I'm flexible. I can look mid after my full clear because I know my raptors are respawning. So I don't have to feel the pressure of do I base or do I gank, right? Uh, the last benefit is just the buy, right? So staying on the map, I think, is a really big component to being efficient nowadays. So when you get your 8 camp clear, you usually end up with around 1100 to 1200 gold, depending on what happened. And that allows you to get your first big component, whether that's tunnel or triple longsword, right? And that's really important because there's a big difference between tunneler versus a double longsword, or maybe even triple longsword versus double. I mean, that's a lot less, but tunneler versus a double longsword is a big difference in skirmishing power, right?
So tunneler is ideally what you're getting, but you said what's it? Why? When was the choice between? It's just about gold. Like tunneler is more expensive than triple longsword, right? So if you have the gold for tunnel, you build tunneler.
It's not about gold. That is a factor, but the main factor is that
HB
if
for the fight, you need
if you're
HB.
actually, yes, if you
I
do,
see.
and a lot of the time you're gonna need it against a Jarvan or any melee champ. But if you're versing, like, let's say, Nidalee, a Zyra, a Lilia, the health doesn't matter. You just need to execute them.
Makes sense. Going back to Shern, our our build section, you said you don't take health potion if you're not invading. You didn't invade this game.
Yeah. So this game, basically, I felt like I was going to stay on the map for a very long time. So then maybe this is something I didn't mention, but I felt like this bot lane matchup, it was going to be a war of attrition. So you got heal and shielding, right, on either both sides of this matchup. So I felt like this lane was going to be an over, like we were going to have a standoff essentially. So no one's going to one shot each other in this lane, right? Because both sides have heal barrier.
It's a poke, very chaotic lane,
Yes,
so you feel like you need to be on the map because
we're going to be on a
Karma's a
standoff.
heavy trade in. Lucian, Nami, so you're going for the 3v3 bot. This is going to be the game basically. What you're seeing
Yes,
here. So you need the help potion
100%.
for that. And then ranged. Why do you go red smite here? Is that because they're running into you?
Yeah, so the thing is Lucian is usually like I'm never gonna go on Lucian if he has dash. It's impossible. So a lot of the time, he's gonna help me gap close for me. So that's sort of the I'm not chasing. Whereas Ezreal Nico, I'm like chasing, if that makes sense.
Okay.
The other example, but
So
I
that's when you
would
go blue
say,
smite.
Blue Smite is still good this game, right?
Okay.
I
You can do
would
both.
But yes, red here was the preference, just given I'm probably going to be hitting Riven and Jarvan most of the time, honestly. Like getting on the Lucian army is only going to be an ulti based thing, right? So yeah.
All right, so the only thing I want to go over the clear, you already gave us the clear tips with the empowered abilities here. So you walk up to the Raptors, you start with a Q. Are you trying to hit all of them? Is this correct?
No, you're not trying to hit all of them because then that would require you to auto them and then pull back and then Q, which is not going to be worth your time because they end up dying anyway because of how many Qs you use using around 3 or 4. So this is perfect because even though I'm not hitting every single one, I'm aggroing them straight away to get the pet damage instantly as
Okay, so you
fast as
just want to
possible.
leash it with Q ASAP. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you only hit the big one, and then now you drag it out, and then you hit all of them with the Q, I assume.
Yeah. As you can see, I'm hitting them all with Q. A little mishap there, autoing a small one. But as you can see, I'm really confident in like my execute, which and you guys should be too once you learn it, and it's going to help you clear a lot more because the execute. Oftentimes, if the buff gets reset or the camp rather, it's done. Like you're tilting. You're like, wow, I have to redo the camp again. But Pantheon has so much room for error when it comes to like the camps resetting because of how strong your execute is. So
And when you say execute, you're talking about the empowered Q.
No, any Q.
Normal Q. Any Q is an execute when they're low HP.
Yes, below 20%.
Okay.
I'm always, you see, I'm like always pushing my limits on the execute, right? Because I know how strong it is essentially, and it's giving me a lot faster clear speed.
Okay, so we've talked about the 8 camp clear. So you said there's going to be a part in the bot lane here, Shern. Let's see what happens here. So we're going to finish our blue. You don't care about holding your smite for the crab. You just want to double smite to get bot ASAP. You don't care about the crab.
Position, yeah. Regardless of champion you guys play, position is everything, right? Position on the map is more. You notice how Jarvan's already here. I mean, he skipped his camps, but yeah, you can see. If I save my camps here, I would be like 5 seconds. Save my smite here, I'll be 5 seconds later.
Okay, so Jarvan overextended there. I mean, Pantheon he has so much power. You seem like such a good champion at counter ganking or whatever. You just clean up.
Yeah, like we talked about in the combo section, the ideal combo is always going to be to auto W, cancel animation. Yep.
At this situation, you could start with a auto attack, right? Because you're collapsing from.
I don't think I did.
I know you didn't, but you probably could have, right?
I probably could have, yeah, honestly.
Okay, so what do you think about here? Obviously, we've got a really big wave here, so we can dive the bot lane. Are you thinking about where Jarvan's going to go out of base here?
Yeah, I'm thinking about my Raptors are exposed, so I'm kind of just faking it, as you can see. They TP'd, which is like kind of good for me, honestly. I'm asking for the ward because I don't want him to do my respawn while I'm chilling out here in bot side.
Okay, so you're in Operation Raptors, Defend Raptors mode.
100%.
And I guess this is the weakness of the 8 camp clear, right?
Yes, exactly.
You're locked into the Raptors, so you're always threatened to lose them against a good jungler.
100%. Yeah, I don't care that he's gonna get the scuttle crab, right? A lot of people might cope and try to be like, oh, but maybe I could get the double crab, but no, I really just need to do these 2 camps in base, right, and continue my sequence.
And by continuing sequence, you mean go back to your wolves ASAP, and then
yeah, look bot again after the 2 camps. Yeah, so I'm getting pings for top, but I'm interested, but I don't really want to do this, right? Because
you're happy to let him die. You're happy to just reset and go back bot, right?
Yeah, ideally. I'm gonna look. It looks like I'm gonna look one time, but I don't think I should. Honestly, I think this is a bad play.
Because I guess even if Jarvan shows top, then you sprint here and take these camps away, right? It's a win-win for you, theoretically. Is that right?
It's a win. It's a win-lose, but since the bot matchups are volatile,
the waves bounce back, I think, as
probably will. Yeah, it probably will turn into a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Every lead is temporary, right? Until it's lost, essentially. So like, there you might get something, but you might get something bigger back.
In reviews, I always caution people after 8 camp clear. I say only. People are always obsessed with like making a play after the 8 camps. They always see something like fine top, and I always say only do this if you think it's 100% guaranteed. Because the moment you delay, you start your wolves and gromp, and again, as that mindset, even if Jarvan ganks top, you have options on him. It doesn't even really matter that much. So I always caution people against this gank after the 8 camp clear, specifically top side here. Yeah,
this is definitely a mistake. At the same time, if I do kill him, it's not a mistake. So it's sort of like, there's
definitely chaos here. This guy's low HP, right? Like, it's not really a bad gank, right? You have the kill threat. But if this guy's full HP, obviously this is a terrible gank, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was water or not, but he's clearly playing it like yeah.
What a beast.
I think it was
he knows.
Good game sense. I mean, this is the
highest. This is a disaster, Shern. This is a disaster, right?
This is a disaster, but hey, we're taxing some EXP here, so we're doing all right in life.
Oh, then he dies, and the wave. He's a massive wave, Shern. What? That is great, dude. This is good.
Yeah, this is a punishment for looking for that, and he played it well, right? Like I think a lot of people would die there, but yeah, he played it well, knowing I could be in the bush. So he leaned to the right side, and then obviously forced my hand because I felt like I was too invested.
You said that this is the best Riven player on career at the moment. Is there any other pro players in this game? Any
Yeah, pretty
notable
much
players?
everyone here is a pro player
For
except for
LCK
that guy.
teams or the second tier?
Mix of both. It's a full challenger game, so like I can see some names here, but yeah, essentially mix of both.
Anyone of noteworthy? We're versing Chovy here.
Hmm, probably not. I'd have to see again. This is yeah, probably not.
All right, whatever. That's useless information anyway, Sharon. All right, so what are you thinking about now? So your mindset here is you just want to keep going to the volatility of bot.
Yeah, I want to dominate the river. They're trying to collapse on me because I think if you go back here, this was an essential smite right here because this is what happens at the end of every full clear, right? Both jungles are one camp off six, and there's only two camps up on the map since Grubs are gone, right? Or Grubs are spawning at 8 minutes, so instead of six, so it's Scuttle or Dragon. So this right here was yeah, the difference. So he would
So
hit six there, or I would hit six.
so contesting the first crab, so the
Second
crab
crab.
respawn, the second crab is really important to get level 6.
It's not really important to
Something
contest
you
it,
think
but it's
about.
really important to get six. And finding
Okay.
a way to get six is really important. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I like the movement here, in and out, not rushing things. Really interesting choice to just burn the flash there, Shern. I would say a lot of people would just E there because people think about flash as an oh shit ability rather than preventing damage. You flashed it like full HP.
Yeah. So the reason why empowered E is not good here is because even if I get the empowered E off, there's no follow up from my teammates. My echo's so far away, and also another thing to note as well is that um, even if you empowered E, you should be doing damage. So when I empowered E here and I'm chain CC'd, they're gonna kill me at the end of my E anyway.
And
The
you're doing no
resist,
damage because your
yes,
teammates aren't here.
and I'm getting chain CC. And the resist is good, but it doesn't make you a god, right? You're still gonna take a lot of damage just because you have an extra 15 armor and MR. So it's much better to flash here, and now I can use my E again after the fact, right? As soon as I E, you can see they change targets straight away. Obviously, it could be doing better with the skill shot there, but other than that, I pretty much baited them into taking a a subpar fight. That
Yeah,
didn't work
very
out at all.
clean. And I guess this is really demonstrated here, Sharon, where you're not over chasing, you're letting them walk into you here. I would say a lot of people go on the Nami in this. They're like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta go. But you're just playing really sort of slow here. And I guess it's the same principle, right? You don't really have follow-up here. Is that like why you're not going to Nami here, I guess is my question.
The follow-up issue, Mida's first move, and Dragon, the cheeky drag. Like this is
It
high
pushes
elo
you back.
career, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They know that if they sit in the back and pit, they have the utilization of the Dragon
Pushback.
Rage. Yes.
All right, game-winning skirmish here, Sharon. And then looks like we end up surviving this. Jarvan dies. We're now 2-0-3 with 50 farm at 7 minutes 30. Oh, a lot of
Yep.
people do Dragon here, Sharon. Why are you not doing Dragon?
Because Dragon does not win you games. Solo does not win you games. Winning fights wins you games, and taking the Dragon it means I'm going to give up a lot more opportunity in the future because I'm stuck on the map for an extra 20 seconds, knowing the opponent knowing I'm going to need to base.
So you're basically
So
saying you're going to lose tempo. You're going to lose, like, not necessarily lose these camps, but you're going to
I'm going to
lose
lose
pressure on the map,
flexibility. I'm going to lose
flexibility.
flexibility. Yes, of options. I cannot exercise my options. Right.
So
It's
why do you
like
go
your low
Raptors
health.
out of?
It's like your low. What do you call it? It's like you're playing Pokemon and all your Pokemon are dying. You don't have
Okay.
you don't
You
have
want to
abilities to
replenish.
use.
You want to
Yes,
replenish. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Why do you go Raptors out of base there, Sharon, instead of just choosing to do red or Krugs
Oh, because I keep with the same. I like to keep
sequence?
with the same sequence exactly. So
Okay.
after this red, I know I'm gonna have the option to do. Oh bloody hell! You can get that. I know I have the option to go back to my wolves after this. And I like to keep the same sequence because it opens me up to the side. Oftentimes, like you look mid first, just as mid wants to push and look to side. The same way you want to go Raptors and be around mid and allow them to go to side as well.
I
So let's
see.
say I do Raptors, I still have the flexibility to look mid. And then if mid is not gankable, it either means my mid's pushed or like he can 2v1 us. I don't know. Then it's disastrous. But
So you're
regardless,
saying Raptors gives you flexibility, so you can look mid, or
yeah.
you can just do your camps, and then you can sort of just choose
And
whether you're
then
going to go after
and
the
then
red
look
buff
side.
anyway. Okay.
Yes.
Or you could look side. Yeah. Okay. So it gives you the flexibility. I see. Interesting. So
I
you
don't
lost
want to be
Grubs
lost.
there, Shern. Do you worry
Yeah.
about losing Grubs?
No, not at all. So that's what I was talking about at the start of the video. Nothing matters except for winning fights. Like it's not like the previous patch where grubs were very, very important. Uh, Giving grubs does not change the outcome of the game. It uh, it's impactful, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's not end all be all like before. So I that was the trade off, right? I did my camps, he did grubs, but now I get a chance to either do dragon or dive bot, right?
Now
I
you have a
still have
chest turn.
flexibility.
You have a chest turn
Yes,
and over him now because he did Grubs.
100%. And now I'm being very offensive because I know I have a massive turn. And hopefully this is more fruitful than what he did, right? Which is just one objective. We'll see how it turns out.
So you're saying you're seeing if you're going to get more value out of this player in terms of experience and gold than his Grubs by your chest
Yeah,
turn.
yeah,
And your mindset is that you will do an objective if there's nothing else to do. So it seemed like there was no
yeah. It's
dive to be
just a
done
camp.
bot, and none of your camps are up. So now you have the luxury to do dragon and not lose a chest turn.
Yeah, like I'm going to be slightly off. He actually might get my Raptors here. I hope I ping this and help it make him defend. Yep, I ping it. Great. So actually ended up being an even trade, or I mean, you could argue slightly winning because I made the Lucian base, but overall probably a little win, not a massive win.
I think it's quite a big win, Shern. Jarvan skipped his camps and his tempo to do the grubs, right? So that's why you're like 80 farm and he's like 50. So you're really far ahead in tempo of your camps and respawning. You don't view that as like a win, massive win?
Oh no, it's just like not the visual we're probably looking for, where I ended up diving bot because he's I push him out and then yeah, that would be like the ultimate win,
I
right?
see.
It's like
Yeah.
getting a massive dive off because I have mid and bot push because of my pressure.
So why not ult onto this instead of running
Because
at
he's
him?
got too many bloody dashes for me to predict where he's gonna go. I don't know if he's disengaging. I don't know if he's gonna all in. Imagine he all ins, but I ulti two like a screen away, and he just gets out. It's gonna be terrible. Like your ulti really needs to be like a missile precision. Like you're gonna hit it.
So a lot of the time, I guess a lot of mistakes that Pantheon players do is that they are, and then the enemy Riven's like sprinting around that way or just messing with you or whatever it is. They're just like, you're going on a wild goose chase against heavy dash champions.
Yeah, but you see how I use my empowered to gap close? That is gonna be a key for you to gap close on people.
How does your empowered E help you gap close?
Gives you movement speed at the
Gives you
end of
movement
your
speed.
E.
I see. So if you don't need it for the fight, you can use it to get closer to people.
Yeah, but it's like using any dash ability. If you use Lee Sin W, just know that's the end.
Yeah,
Right?
you're in trouble
Like
if
you're
it goes
committed.
bad.
You're
You're
committed.
committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with empowered. Using empowered E, you're committed.
And this is a good R because they're committing.
Yeah, I know he queued, so I know the only option for him is to obviously ult next, and he's still going to be in the same spot in 3 seconds. And you can see here, like, again, I'm not I'm not viewing this champion as like I need to do something. Like I'm literally late to this play. I'm second because I know I have my ultimate. So I have freedom to move on the map, right? I could be ganking mid and I can be bot instantly. So there's no
Is this what
problem.
makes him like a really strong jungler? You have so much flexibility around the map rather than being top
Because
lane Pantheon?
yes, there's an information warfare on top of the fact that you can be anywhere or pretty much 2/3 of the map, right? You can't be bot and top at the same time, but you can be mid and bot or mid and top at the same time.
So we're in a very good position here, Shern. We have 100 farm at this point here. We're 404, very good map impact. How do we close out games with Pantheon? What's your mindset? Is there anything fancy we need to do? Or are you just going to keep up experience of gold and scale, as you said? You think this champion scales?
Yeah, we're scaling. We're going to choke them out, depending on how they respond, right? There's two ways people usually respond. One is they're going to turtle, and that's where you're just going to take every objective on the map. And two, they're going to fight, and that's where you're going to utilize the fact that you have a global ultimate. So you can be top and then gank. You can gank top without using your ultimate, for example, in the side lane, and then ult mid to counter as soon as they see you top and they try to like attack your mid lane, right? Or vice versa. You could be mid and they try to gank top, you can ult top. Yeah, that was tricky by the opponent using the pink ward as a timer to look mid while I'm clearing the pink.
So it looks like we're syncing our recalls up with our karma. What do we think about now? So do you think about the next objective? So you said that you win the game through fight. So you're thinking like Dragon's next objective, or is it just you're going bot for your camps? I mean, Herald's an objective up here. Are you thinking about where the fight's going to be? You're planning around your strong members. What are some reference points in the mid game for Pantheon?
No, so I really like this pace of the game because basically what it means is that I'm
What do you mean
able
by this
to
pace of the game? What do you mean by that?
essentially there's not a lot of fighting in between my ult cooldowns, right? So essentially it's almost like the enemy feels like I have ult the whole time. That makes sense because they're
So by
not
holding your
actually.
ults, you're creating invisible pressure like a Blitzcrank Q or Morgana Q.
Well, no, what I mean is the pace of the game allows me to do stuff while I don't have my ultimate,
I see.
right?
Okay.
And because they're not forcing every single minute of the game, I'm able to like breathe, and they're gonna feel like I have ultimate a lot of the time when I actually don't, right? Uh, so yeah, I mean that timer, I didn't have ults, and they got me there. Like it was like 10 seconds, and I ended up getting outplayed there. But yeah, this is a good pace for the game.
So you're saying ideally you would wait for your team to not fight until you had ults, and that's when they die and you become slow. So basically, a really good game is that your ult's always up for the play, and you got a lot of your camps off the map, right? When you say you don't, you can go do
100%.
things, hit your camps while you're waiting for your ult. I see. So I guess a tip for your teammates here, your laners, is that wait for Pantheon ults before you fight.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, it's definitely, it's like any global champ, you need to utilize the global, otherwise the champion doesn't have an ultimate for combat, right? Essentially.
Okay, so we've just given a shutdown here, Shern. The game's starting to look a little bit. They've got mid tower as well. So, are you stressed at this stage of the game? You thinking, we're throwing the game. What's going on here?
Absolutely.
You're
You can
stressed.
see,
Okay.
you can see me skitzing out, but know I'm still in a winning position, right? It's always the classic, tank player versus a carry player, so like Riven or something. It's always going to be frustrating if they get shutdowns and they're able to get so strong that they can solo kill the side lane, etc., and start roaming.
So before Shern, you went Raptors out of base. Now you're going to your Krugs. Is the reason being is that whole sequence of events where you can go Raptors, the mid's just gone? Like you're just need to be like, what's the idea of going for Krugs?
We're in the mid game now. We're
You don't
not
do that
even
anymore.
doing a camp sequence anymore. Like I might even skip my Raptors after this, right? I probably won't, but you will see me sometimes skip camps because now camp sequencing is going to have less value. It's still important, just not as valuable.
Yeah, so mid game, so sequence is really important early game. Once you get to the mid game, first item plus like, 12, 14 minutes, you just think about whatever camps are available, I'll take, but I'm really looking to win the game and pressure when I'm ahead.
It's
Is that the idea?
position on the
So
map.
you play
Yeah,
for
it's
position
going
on
to
the map
matter.
over your camps.
Yeah, you notice I could be at Wolves right now, but if I go to Wolves, I expose my mid and top completely. And that's going to be very problematic in the future, right? Or maybe in the very, very near future if I went to Wolves, though.
Okay, so we're playing really just, relaxed, sort of waiting for opportunities. Are you sort of looking to do anything in particular? Play with anyone? Are you just fishing for mid-Rs?
Yep, I'm going. You can see how fast I'm going here. Like
Yep.
one moment I'm on my camp, the next moment I see Lucian's too far up and Echo as a flank, right? And I'm just going.
So Pantheon, like, how you say you go cut down, you're looking to start fights with R in the mid game.
Yeah. In that case, I didn't end up utilizing it, obviously, because they went to the Echo. But had they come to me, right, they'll be full HP and I'll be starting the fight.
And is catching 80 carries on the mid wave a very common thing you'd be doing?
Yeah, actually it is. Like I haven't thought about it, but yes. A lot of the time, at least in these games, a lot of the time the side laner knows their limits, but I'm 100% sure in lower elo bracket games, you're gonna find the side laner overextending a lot, and that's when easy ults are gonna happen too.
I see. So high-elo games, it's probably going to be more mid, fishing for mid-Rs. In lower ranks, you think that it's just going to be free kills, just R'ing onto the side lane.
Yeah, in Tree and Challenger. I'd say maybe in NA it would still be easy to hold in side lane, but these guys know their limits particularly well on the side lane. As you can see, it's a low kill game, right?
All right, so we get the Herald. What are you thinking now here, Shane? You thinking about Adicard is the next objective, so you need to control bot side?
Yeah, so remember what I said about people's response, right? I How you close out games is how people respond to a deficit. So the way they respond here is they think the Atacon is extremely valuable, right? So they're willing to stick their necks out for the Atacon. So it's sort of like when you watch those nature documentaries where drinking some water may cost your life. It's like the same thing, where
Deer
if they
drinking
really
water,
want it, yeah,
crocodile in the water
crocodile.
waiting for them to drink, and then bam, the crocodile snaps the deer's neck.
Yeah, or you don't drink. So it's up to them, right? So if they didn't contest the Atacon, we get it. If they do, but I've often found a lot of people value it really highly. So it's a perfect bait, essentially.
So you're not looking to start the Atacon. You want them to start it or overextend their necks and catch them. Is that the idea?
No,
Use it
I
as
want.
bait.
No, I do want to start it if they don't want to come, but
Okay.
but I want vision and position, right? Vision and position is like a big theme, I guess, I've been going on in reviews in the program, coaching program. So, yeah, really important that, like we said about the camp sequencing, we don't care about full clearing at a certain point because position and vision is going to matter a lot more.
Right, so we're still really getting our camps off the map here. I'm seeing a lot of camps off the map still. What are you thinking next here? I feel like this is a bit of a downtime when,
That's
so
what I
Attica,
mean, right?
yeah.
Yep.
So this is the downtime with your ult you're talking about, right? So if there's nothing to do, you're just clearing camps, waiting for your ult again. Then I mean, I guess you can't start Attica anyway, but even though you're so far ahead because your top team's top side, right? So this is why
Yeah,
you
they're
said I
actually
like the
getting
pace of
push
this
on
game.
us.
Yeah,
Yes, like it's 16 to 17, but like you guys have to actually look at the state of the map, not just KDA, right? Like we're getting pushed in on both sides. This is not a good map state for us. So obviously, starting Atacon would be just detrimental here. Like we need to establish a push, and then we need to establish vision, and then we can get in position, right?
I just want to note here, going back to our build thing that I'm noticing here, Shern, you like the pickaxe and the longsword combination when you're building Black Cleaver.
Offense is defense, baby.
And serpents. I guess, yeah, for serpents and Black Cleaver when you're building those, right? It's the
Yeah,
same core little builds.
yeah.
Okay, you fishing for an R mid. You want to catch him on this next mid wave, right? Get the fight going. Shen has R, right? So this is just perfect. Shen R, this is such a good combination.
Yeah, I try to chain CC, but he's able to actually flash at the very end. So a little bit of a mistake by me, but really good that I didn't just flash W straight away.
Okay, so let's go over that again. So a lot of people, when would they flash here, Shern?
So actually, I could maybe try flash there, but right here, a lot of people might flash instantly. But I want to, have the full chain CC for the Shani. So I wanted to hold it. Ended up holding a little bit too long, but the idea was right.
Are you thinking a lot about target selection in fights? Are you always thinking about one or two people that you're looking to just one shot with your stun? Like, is it really important your W usage? Like, you don't want to be Wing on the Riven or the Jarvan. Do you hold W for like the Lucian or the Nami, or is it really just situational? Can you play front to back as well as dive onto their back line? I guess is sort of my question.
Yeah, so you play both. So the idea is you get maximum utilization of your kit as Pantheon if you're executing people, right? Think about it like this. If you're executing people, you're doing a lot of damage, right? Like it's extra damage, whereas someone else that doesn't have execute damage has to do raw damage to kill someone. So if you can execute someone faster, everyone can switch to a different target. So it doesn't matter if it's the front line or the back line. If you feel you can execute them, you should after your WE, right?
So when you say execute them, you're talking about get them to 20% HP because then you'll one-shot them. No, whether it's a tank, it's a squishy, whatever.
Yes,
and by
exactly.
you pumping all your damage into them and your teammates are able to follow up on your W, it doesn't mean if it's a tank. As long as you kill them really quick, you'll be able to move on to the next target with your team.
Exactly. But in that situation, if Shen missed the taunt on Lucian and hit Riven, for example, I would probably just chain CC on Riven. And then E Lucian's full combo.
Like you said, you like to E range champion. So that's, I guess, where the E versatility comes in, is you kill the front line and you're Eing the range champions hitting you.
While doing damage to whoever's in front of me, right? Yeah, with the E.
Yeah. I guess that sort of makes Pantheon a very sort of versatile team fighter, like a good team fight champion.
Yeah, especially...
Would you as a good team fight champion?
No, not in the traditional sense, but the way you start fights is very hard to deal with, right? It's very hard for Jarvan to just walk up and EQ my teammates when I can just counter with ults, right? Like, even if I'm not physically next to them. Well, that was a disaster. One thing I really wanted to showcase, I'm not sure if I do it this game, is utilizing your E against the wall. I guess the first dragon fight we talked about, where I flashed the combo, I could have used my E, but using your E against the wall is really, really good.
Is that because they can't get behind you and hit you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you use Pantheon E, you're slowed because Pantheon E slows you. It just feels horrible when they will walk past you, right? And then they just do damage to you.
So for the last 3 minutes, why were you topside? Why were you not playing for Atacon, that whole sequence of events?
Can we go back a little bit?
You want to get some context here. So you did Dragon, your team all base, so you didn't have your timer. And then you guys are all shoved in, so you have to respond to waves, and then you guys are looking to fight here, so you're stuck topside. Okay, that makes sense, right?
It just ended up being a fight topside.
Just solid you. Just the way it works, right?
And then, the little mishap there.
I mean, I say solo queue, but that's all correct by them. You know, like, you guys did Dragon, and, like, you guys had to base, so they all force push waves. You had to respond to those waves, right? You weren't just allowed to get Atacon there, you know?
Yeah, and we saw an opportunity to kill a key target, so...
So it looks like now you're recalibrating, Shern. You're like saying, guys, bot Atacon. Let's go Atacon now.
Yeah. Really good thing about Atacon as well is it's a weird objective where I think the more people that do it, the more value it gets. Like, but if you actually like solo or duo, it doesn't actually do much damage, right? As you can see. So I already got it to like half, like more than half health
Taking
before
no damage.
anyone ever came.
All right, so it looks like we might have one more team fight this game here, Shern. So I'm going to really pay attention to R usage. The interesting thing, looking at your gameplay here, Shern, there's been no wasted Rs. All your Rs have been very precision, very high value, high impact. Do you find that games that you miss a lot of Rs, you're going to probably lose the game?
That's the review half the time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially in the early days where I was trying to hit my ultimate, like the circle. That's where I struggled a lot because I'm trying so hard to hit a landing spot where I don't know where I'm gonna land, you know,
So once
because
you
it's
switch
a
your
moving
mindset
target.
to I'm just using R to get to the fight rather than to hit the R, you have way more success.
Yeah, yeah. No, like I always try to overshoot to the position they can run, right? Instead of just trying to hit the circle every time. Yeah, so basically my highest impact probably this game was mainly just the mid engage and then the river fight where I was able to just save my E flash abilities and then yeah, make oh that was nice. Yeah, make space for my team. A lot of time and space.
Okay. It looks like you guys end the game here.
Yeah, and
Right.
then you
Awesome
got
game.
a lot of shield cut value right there.
Any final comments about this game show that you think you did well?
Not everything I just said, yeah. I think that was the main thing. Just the engage timer and then utilizing my E and utilizing my flash in the river fight. I think those were probably my two best moments there.
All right, let's move on then. Okay, Shern. So this section we're going to be going over a jungle matchup tier list of champions that you find are harder to face versus maybe really easy matchups for you. And I guess it's sort of like just holistically. Let's start with how you would perceive these champions in maybe the average rank, like gold, platinum, emerald. Then we will change the list to like, Korean challenger, like super high-elo, because that might change.
Yeah.
So let's start off with here, Amumu. Let's go from A to Z here. Amumu, where would you put Amumu? Again, as a gold, platinum, emerald player.
Yeah, probably medium
Medium.
because yeah, Amumu is gonna get a really fast reset on his E, but at the same time, you can empower E his ults and his Q, right? You can see the Q and ult coming from a long mile away. So I think both sides have some play here.
Yep, so sort of just average, but it's not super easy. Brand.
Super easy brand.
And why is that?
Yeah. You're going to be able to E 90% of his combo. Even if you get stunned and don't use your E, you can still use your E for his 3-stack
Okay.
passive.
And I guess also as well, there's a lot of threat on brand with your R, right? Because if he has no flash or whatever, he's very easy to R on and catch him. Is that another reason?
Mobile champ, and you've got so much opportunity to invade him. Like, doesn't have his stun at any moment, he's getting full comboed.
So it sounds like a big part of your, how you view a good matchup for you as Pantheon is E. What can you block with E? The value of that block in.
Yeah.
So what would a champion where you're not blocking much, like Gwen?
No, Gwen's going to be easy too because you're going to be able to kite. But at the same time, yes, so champions that you can't, I'll put this in, hard maybe. Champions that you cannot kite effectively are going to be the most difficult. But Gwen is going to be a little bit difficult because she can gap close without getting stunned because of her W.
Okay, let's go back here. Belveth.
Belveth's going to be same with medium. There's play on either side. Belveth can cancel your W. The bad thing about Pantheon is it gets cancelled by literally everything. You don't lose any colliding car interaction, you lose. So Belveth W is going to get cancelled every single time. But the
So
thing
you're about to
is
cancel your stun, your W. Is that right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's really bad. Briar here is going to be easy because you're going to be able to E or kite most of the damage. Same logic as Mumu. Then we got Diana here. This is going to be easy as well, mainly due to the build path, right? She has inbuilt shields. She is a burst champ, but you could E her burst, right?
So
Maybe I'll
serpents
put her
for
in medium. Maybe I'll put her in
okay.
medium because she can get behind you and block, dodge your E.
I see. So you can output damage whilst you're in your E.
Yeah.
Mundo.
Mundo would be in the hard section, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd say because if you don't know how strong he is, sometimes you're gonna get surprised when you jump on him and he just keeps smacking you and he's not dying.
Doesn't take any damage.
Yeah, as I said, Pantheon's not actually good 1v1. He's good in a group setting. So Mundo, if he gets the ISO 1v1, it's gonna be difficult.
Echo.
Echo, extremely easy. You can always dodge his third stack. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Elise.
Elise is going to be in the hard section, I'd say, just because she can dodge your stun once again, and she is able to hit you before you hit her, right? So she's got a ranged advantage of you.
Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Are you playing against much Eves? Are there much Eves in
Yes,
Challenger?
very good. Yes, there's one trick that is consistently annoys me. I'll put it in medium. I think you always have the opportunity to E her taunts. So she's going to charge the taunt up and then throw the charm, and then you can E at the same time. So it has some benefits, but the problem is she does essentially she has true damage on her execute as well. So even if you have empowered, it's not going to be that strong.
Fiddle.
Fiddle is going to be medium as well. Like you have some play with blocking all his burst, but at the same time, he has a lot of chain CC, so you might not even have the chance to E a lot of his burst.
Gragas we don't really see in the jungle that much. He's more of a top laner nowadays, but where would you put Gragas?
If he does play jungle, I would say it would be hard because you literally lose every body slam interaction. You just have to take it on the chin if you're in range of his E.
Bit more popular champion here, Graves.
Graves, very easy. Actually, no, put him in medium because I think, once again, if you don't understand your damage, you might just be jumping to your death. So if Graves goes on you and uses his dash, it's a lot easier to kill him. But likewise, if you jump on him and you don't have the proper damage, he's just going to catch you, right? So
Hecarim.
Hecarim also going to put this guy in the medium section. Same sort of reason where you have to know if you can stat check him or not, right? Hecarim with Q stacks versus no Hecarim with Q stacks, big difference.
Yeah. So again, like the medium section is more of like both the Hecarim side and the Pantheon side, they both have options. It's more of a skill matchup. You need to play well.
Yeah, Ivan's going to be the same, right? Depending on the level of Ivan you're versing, obviously. But Ivan is quite similar in the sense where Ivan outranges you, but you can build shield cut as well as if you do gap close, he has no escapes, right? He's an immobile mage essentially.
It sounds like you really like building in Serpent's Fang, Shern. If you can build Serpents, you love like heavy shield champions. Is that because you just really love that build path? It just feels nice.
Yes, feels really nice.
Jarvan is a bit of a shield, but it's quite small.
Yeah, Jarvan's going to be this medium. The same thing again with like you can get your W cancelled, but also he can also EQ behind you. So it can feel very awkward to press your E, right? If you have opponents hitting you from the left and right side because, Jarvan EQ behind you, it can feel very awkward. But at the same time, like you saw in the VOD review, your ulties are easy to predict because his engage is very linear. He's going to EQ ult, and so you can always pinpoint the landing spot essentially when you ult against a Jarvan.
Jax.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard matchup. I wouldn't say very hard because once again, the jungle matchup isn't 1v1, so you're not going to have trouble as long as you don't start or you don't go looking for trouble essentially. But yeah, he can dodge your attacks, auto attacks, your W, sorry, with his E. Karthus is going to be in the medium section because once again, this would be easy, similar to Brand, but the difficulty is that he can go exhaust, and sometimes you're not going to have the damage to actually finish him off in a 1v1. So he can sometimes turn the tides. So I'd say medium.
Kayn, I guess red and blue.
Kayn is going to be in the hard section because the red Kayn can cancel your W very easily, right? Yes. His W is very long range. And once again, going back to the same idea as the Karthus idea, where if you're not confident in how much damage you do and you just jump on him, he's going to out DPS you in the end, right? So it's going to be very, very hard to play versus him if you don't know your damage well.
You've played a lot of Kha'Zix, Shern. Kha'Zix can't cancel your W at any point. Where would Kha'Zix go?
Kha'Zix would definitely go in the easy section, just because even if he stealths and Qs on you, you get the instant auto W I talked about in the combo section. So you're always going to be able to trade your combo with him and not be sort of afraid.
Kindred.
Like other people would. Kindred is going to be in the easy section once again. It's very, very hard for Kindred to out-combo you, right, in a duel. Even if you jump on him, right, you have your E to block his third auto attack on his E. It's like blocks an insane amount of DPS, right?
Lee Sin.
Medium. The reason why I won't say easy, like just because you can cut his shield and stuff with the build path, is because no, I'll put it in easy. Lee Sin has to play a lot better, actually. I was thinking about it, but basically Lee Sin has opportunity. Once again, if you do not know your damage, he can out DPS you. So big theme here is obviously knowing how much damage you can do, right? If you can actually get them to execute range.
So you think the burden of execution's on Lee Sin more so?
Yeah, 100%.
In that matchup. Lilia?
Lilia's going to be hard because she's a sustain champ, similar to Red Kayn, right? If you don't one-shot her, she just kills you. So you need to know your damage on this one. And she heals, so it's difficult. Easy, super easy, Master E. Same logic as Kindred, right? You're just going to be able to E a lot of his damage. And if he goes on you, you get the full auto W combo.
Maokai is more of a competitive champ. Don't really see much in solo queue.
I'll put him in medium just because of how many cancels he has on your W. You can cancel it with literally 2 abilities.
Same with Sejuani, another competitive tank champion.
Sejuani, I'll put in easy because let's say she combos you, you can always see the 4th stack coming and press E just before she throws the E, blocking
her stun. I see
massive damage. Mordekaiser, I would probably put in hard. A lot of people might fall for this trap. They might think, oh, I'm Pantheon. I'm strong as hell. Like, I'm just going to jump on this guy. But this guy will beat you up for sure in a pure 1v1. So unless you know the matchup, you're probably going to fall for some of his tricks, essentially.
And Mordekaiser just loves people running into him and fighting melee range. Like, he obliterates. Yes. He's like the best one.
Oh, yeah.
And he forces a 1v1, and you say that Pantheon's not really a good 1v1 champ. So it's like, it seems like, would this even go very hard?
Yeah, for sure. A good Mordekaiser player, and you don't knowing the matchup well, yeah, it's going to be hard. Morgana's going to be medium. Yes, you could consider hard, but the reason why you don't is because even though she can block your stun, etc., you can also block some of her damage, and also you just do so much physical damage. She doesn't really want to get jumped on at any point.
Nidalee?
Nidalee is going to go in the I'd say it'll go in the medium section. I was considering hard, but medium just because you have so much freedom of movement, right? You shouldn't really be getting speared. If you do, you can always anticipate the jump and her spear. Yes, exactly.
Nocturne, bit of a popular champion, especially in the lower ranks.
Yeah, this is going to be in the hard section because... No, we'll put it in the very hard section. I would say because of his ability to, block your stun with his spell shield, and also how he wins just in a pure brawl 1v1, it's going to be... It's hard. And he can match your ultimate, right? And you can't ulti properly when he ults. So lights out, it's going to be hard to hit your ult.
Nunu.
He's going to be in the hard section as well. Medium section, sorry. I would say hard in the sense that you have a guy running a snowball with you. You can't do anything but press E. So medium section. But the reason why I wouldn't say hard is because you can also do the vice versa, where sometimes blocking his snowball is good. Sometimes you block his full stacked ult and take 0 damage, right? That's amazing.
Poppy.
Hard section. So Poppy is a champ that when he gets low, he gets more resist, but it's at like 40%. So getting him down to the execute range is very difficult. Yeah. And he has the W cancel, obviously.
Rammus.
Medium. Like, guys, everyone should know what Rammus does. You shouldn't really be full comboing a Rammus if he has Thornmail and Ninja Tabs. You can just ignore him pretty much and press E and have Merc Treads. So you guys should be fine. As long as you don't play into his tricks. Rek'Sai's going to be easy.
My main champion, Rek'Sai?
Easy, bread and butter.
So if I'm playing against you with my Rek'Sai, Shern, you'll obliterate me.
It's over. It's over.
Okay.
You dash
on
me.
That champion.
Yeah, actually... all right, it'll be... I'll say lean to easy, but it could be easy or medium. The reason why I'm going to say easy is because you have the freedom of movement. Rek'Sai can never EW on you, right? If you tunnel, Pantheon can easily either W you before you finish your tunnel, or he can tank your stun and then E the important part of your damage kit, right? Which is your Empower E.
Yeah, I definitely think I could see Pantheon players mess up against a Rek'Sai. Like they go in first, or they're trying to like overextend on your backline, and you just hold your W, right, and just knock them up and just one shot them, right, and get behind them. So
it's an in-betweener.
Rengar.
Rengar's gonna be in the hard section, right? It has the W cancel. Once again, the whole concept, if you can like see the pattern here, on the top side, the very hard and the hard section, you've got a lot of DPS champs that can survive more than one combo, right?
I see. This is making sense.
Rengar's the same.
Yeah. Is that because he heals so much with his W and the cleanse?
Yeah, cleanse. Shaka's going to be medium, just because it's the same concept as the easy, but the problem with Shaka is he gets behind you, so it can feel awkward to E, but it's the same. The reason why it could lean to easy is the same reason why Brer, Echo, and Kha'Zix, all these assassins are in there, because once again, you can E a lot of the burst and you can auto W and full combo them for free because they go on you.
Okay, so you said medium for that one, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the theme on the bot side is all these champions go on you first, which is actually good for you. So champs that actually go on you are excellent.
Shyvana,
I'll put it in the medium section. I think
we're talking about AP Shyvana here, right? It's like, sitting back and
it's just the tankiness. Like, I'll put it in easy, but you have so much freedom, but the tankiness allows it to be tricky sometimes. Like, you can't just jump on a Shyvana and then she dies,
So medium, what do we reckon? Maybe medium is like Shrine. You're a little bit hesitant on that one. Silas jungle.
Silas is going to be in the easy section.
Because you can get him really low and execute, right?
No, he
and he wants to run into you.
Yes, he wants to run it. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Scarlet is going to be medium because he unfortunately he can charge his E and there's nothing you can do about it. Um, you can't W him, so you just have to take it, unfortunately. But you out DPS him, right? Because you do percent max health damage, so it's all good.
Talia and a mobile
Tali's going to
mage.
be uh, put in the medium section. I think a really good Talia can be hard, but oftentimes people are not good at spacing, right? It's a very high skill ceiling.
Talon.
Talon, easy peasy. Same concept. You notice all the assassins below are pretty much in the easy section, except for maybe Evelyn because her bloody mobility.
Teemo jungle. Broxer made this a little bit popular.
We'll skip this one.
We're skipping that one. Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Chandler's going to be in the uh, hard section. I think even if you're lower-elo, you know you're not going to win a 1v1 versus Trundle.
Yes.
Like, you shouldn't be jumping on a Trundle for no reason. So you should always space this guy, but it's still going to be difficult because of how much the gap between the DPS levels are.
It sounds like Warwick is like this fits the Trundle category as well. Would you agree?
Yes.
Especially for
100%.
lower ranks. Hard.
100%.
Udia?
Medium, just because you can E his main burst, right? Whether he empower Q or R.
Viego.
Super
Super
easy.
easy.
Reason why is because he's an 80 carrier with one stun, but again he has to go on you. And that's inviting. That's great. And also you can empower the E a lot of his damage and kite back essentially because he has no form of CC besides W.
Vi, a champion with a shield. You like to build Serpent's Fang?
Yeah, medium. But the reason why it's medium, not easy, is because even though she wants to go on you, you get cancelled by her Q. Like, again, the collision thing. You lose every collision. So it's unfortunately, she can always have opportunity to cancel your W.
Volibear sounds like a champion you can't win a 1v1 against.
Yes, this is going to be hard, but I wouldn't say very hard just because of the idea that a lot of the time your E is going to protect yourself from a lot of bursts, right? He needs to hit his E, and you time that properly, it's going to be fine. But yeah, he out DPSs you pretty hard.
Zinzao?
Hard, same thing again. And he also can E and start walking behind you because you're slowed, right? And knock you up, so your E is going to be ineffective.
Zach sounds like he can survive a lot of your bursts.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're getting him low, so, tanky champion. Where would you
But
put
I
Zach?
would put him in medium because you do percent max health damage with your empowered W.
Okay.
Zed's going to
Zed?
be easy. You can always block
Another
his
assassin.
ult damage.
Yeah.
Always block his ult. Like, he could be 2 screens away. As long as you face him and press your E, his ult will not do damage to you, right? They execute.
Another mobile mage category, Zara?
Yes, easy. So this one is really good because a lot of time, right, Zara's love dragons and Grubs. And if you have any vision, they're going to be standing still all the time, right? So it's going to be a lot of landing spots for you.
Wukong, more of a competitive
So,
pick.
This is going to be medium. I think
Interesting.
there's no cancels on this one except for, ulti. So it's a lot easier. But yes, he does out DPS you because he has just inbuilt 100 armor essentially. So yeah, I'll put that in medium.
Yorick jungle, let's ignore that one.
Yeah.
Darius?
Darius is going to be medium. You get out DPS. But again, it's sort of like the Trundle matchup, a much worse version of Trundle, where you just have to know that you jump on him, hopefully it's not just a pure 1v1, right?
Nefiri picked up some more popularity as a jungler now with her rework. Have you played against many Nefiris? Very popular.
Yeah, a lot. I would say it's extremely easy at a low level, but it's medium at a high level. So yeah, because of the fact that you have 2 AoE abilities, right? An essential part of Nefiri is her dogs. So her dogs die, and she's not as effective. So people are much better at high-elo to protecting the dogs essentially.
Right, the rest of these junglers, I mean, Shen, Olaf, Rumble, we don't really see them. Would you do anything with these, or we should ignore these?
I mean, if we were to put them in, they're literally all easy because of the fact that they have to go on you, right? And you can always space them and E a lot of their burst.
Okay, so now how will this tier list change for your experience playing in Korean Challenger? It sounds like Talia goes up to hard, uh, and also Nefiri goes to medium.
Yeah, the only thing I would change is I'm looking at the mediums. It's usually going to be the mediums, or it would be the drop off of like certain champs. Like Gwen would be easy versus and champs like yeah, Gwen would be easy. Warwick and Volibear would be easy at the hard section, and Zinzao would be medium because I just know that I just haven't like I just have so much experience knowing what I can and can't do. And oftentimes, if you get in a stalemate, right, your ultimate's going to serve you more than Zinzao ultimate. In terms of like the pace of the game we watched right there, my ult value is going to get so much more value than his.
So the only very hard champs are just these two. Nothing would pop up to very hard.
I would put Nocturne the same. I think Nocturne has really good matchups. It's just the champ has zero scaling, right? If you
Mm.
think about the champ, think about Vi, percent max health, Pantheon, percent max health, Viego, current health, right? Kindred, current health. Like, but Nocturne has no scaling, so Nocturne in itself is defeated, not the matchups. Like if you're talking about matchups, Nocturne has like the best matchups in the game, right? Like he just wins every 1v1. Same with Trundle, right? But the problem is what they offer outside of pure 1v1. So I would still put it in very hard. I would put Trundle up there too, but Trundle just has a hard time gap closing. So I'm not gonna put it like very hard. I'll just put it in hard.
There's no crazy like Rengar one tricks or whatever that are just a nightmare to play against that you've found.
It's a top lane one, but not a jungle one. No, like Rengar's gonna be hard, just because of the 1v1 ability, but I would probably put him between hard and medium, like he's in between that. Jax again would be medium as well, just because, man, you're not realistically, guys, you're not actually 1v1ing a lot of the time unless you
Yeah.
choose to, right? You're choosing to 1v1. So a lot of these situations that are hard or very hard, you're kind of choosing that situation, or they're forcing you. Maybe they're playing well, they're forcing you into a situation where you have to 1v1. But, the bread and butter of Pantheon is not 1v1. It's in situations where you can chain CC, follow up, etc., or start the fight.
All right, so you happy with this list, Sharon? Anything?
Yeah,
Any other final comments?
no, this looks good.
All right, good stuff. Let's move on. Okay, so the Emerald player here that we're going to be reviewing today, Sharon, comparing your gameplay with his. What can he work on? What can he improve? So this Emerald 4 player in particular, he's actually a Kane one trick. He's played 707 games of Kane just this season, Sharon. This guy plays a lot. But he went on a bit of a Pantheon learning journey. He's gone on Viego learning journey, Volibear. This was quite recently. And then he's sort of like, okay, I don't really like Pantheon anymore. So firstly, let's look at, I want you to criticize his builds based on what we've talked about. So ignore this. This looks like he's quite upset in this game here, Sharon, the amp tomes. So
Oh, he's celebrating.
he's building a lot here, Sharon, that you didn't mention any of these items. He's going Thormail, he's going Unending Despair, Frozen Heart. What's going on here with these builds here, Sharon?
No, that would be a great build part. Like Unending Despair was great in its prime, but now it's the ship sailed. The item's not as effective at all. So this build path was good like a year ago or like 6 months ago. So yeah, it's just outdated really. And obviously, easier thing to criticize is mainly the build path, I'd say, where he actually does go tier two boots later on, which is great. But
That's awesome.
I can see a lot of the time he's building good. It's just he's not building damage first. Like I can see not this specific game, but the other game. Like if you look at maybe another game, yeah, look at this game. Okay, he somehow
That's
just
correct.
gets, yeah, he somehow just gets pickaxe phage every single base. So I don't know, but I guess, yeah, no, this is all good. I just think some games you probably build shortcut and you shouldn't be building unending spare or thorn mail at all, right? Your offense is your defense, right? You're never gonna survive off just being tanky. Your kit has no tankiness in it besides your E. So just focusing on your being a threat is going to help you survive longer.
And it looks like he goes red smite every game. He actually goes blue smite in games. This is a really good blue smite game. So this guy's got really good adaptation. Everything. He's smiting everything in shape.
Yeah. I thought because I saw the one game where he had phage, and that's where I'll disagree. Right, the loss right there, the 1-for-1.
Look at that.
Yeah, I would
Phage.
never
Every
build
base.
phage.
Pickaxe phage.
Yeah, but he
Pickaxe.
keeps doing pickaxe, right? So I'm like, whoa, shit. I mean, it's working. I just got misled by that one game with the phage.
So unending
Yeah.
despair, you're not a fan of at all. You're just not building that.
No, I'm not a fan of
GA,
that.
Death's
I'm
Dance
not.
better.
Yeah. And also, you don't always have to go Sterex GA, right? Death Stance third can also be a great option, depending on the pace of the game, right? You think the game's probably going to end in the next 10 minutes. You know, Death Stance is going to be a better single item than Death Stance Cleaver is going to be a better like duo than Sterex Cleaver. But Sterex Cleaver GA is going to be better than Death Stance GA, essentially, is what I'm saying.
So skill order, all good, right? Looks like he's maxing W second. Wait, you've got to put in E here. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is not correct, but he has the right idea.
W second generally, I think Q first. You
Yes.
went the Legend Haste over Alacrity, Shern. So this guy values attack speed. You said attack speed just doesn't make sense on this champion because you only get one auto attack for off in a fight anyway.
I'm very pro attack speed, but you know, after a lot of games on Pantheon, I've come to realize the application is just not there. Besides auto attacking camps.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into these VOD review now here, Shern. We're going to be going over the which one was it? The 13, 9, and 10 game here. So it looks like you got a lot of kills, a lot of deaths. Let's take a look. The Trundle matchup, which we did mention was difficult. So let's take a look. Okay, Shern, so straight out of base here, what do you think of level 1 for him? He's going Red Smite. This is a really good Red Smite game, right? Everyone's coming into him, right? Perfect Red Smite game.
Yep.
Would you invade here with the health potion?
No, so Trundle is going to be very, like, you want to be very evasive. Like, this guy is like it's a wild cat, you know? You don't want to be messing. It's like you're at a conservation park. Like, you want to look away when you see the bear, you know? In this case, it's a troll, all right? You don't want to make eye contact with this guy, so you want to be in the group settings, right? Like avoid any 1v1s.
So it looks like he's doing a blue start here, Shern. Oh no, he's actually warding his blue. He's scared that Trundle's going to take it, but you love to run here and just defend the Raptors wall. That's what you prefer.
Yeah, but I like this. I like this. Yeah, I think just trying to get your full clear off, and if that helps you get your full clear off, I think it's perfect. I would 8 camp here, but this is not a bad alternative. It's not a massive difference. You just lose a little bit of flexibility, right?
All right, you think pathing towards bot here is fine as well?
Yes. Great synergy here with the slash on your empowered W with Braum passive, right? He gets the instantly 4 stacks as soon as Braum orders once.
He's also smiting as well, Shern, like you, not holding smite for the crab. He wants to get on the map.
Yep, excellent. I just think he's probably messed up his combos a little bit because he's used his potion, he's half health. That shouldn't happen, but yep, other than that, perfect.
Okay, while Trundle appears, he's not looking for the 1v1 at all.
Hope not. Yep, back up. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful weaving of the auto attacks there. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great.
So this is where the flexibility will kick in right now, Shern, if you do Raptors start. You could do Raptors right now. They spawn at exactly 355, 358 into Krugs and then reset back to bot, right? That's why you like this. Okay, so far so good.
Ooh, don't like the buy. Don't like the buy at all. I think
So this would be, again, this is, I guess, the downside of not doing A camp clear, right? So you'll just go double longsword here, right? Because you're not looking to fight Trundle with the HP.
yes, like the health won't matter because you shouldn't be fighting anyway. Exactly. So
Mm.
you just optimize for clear speed. Yeah, perfect logic there. Although, like some people might argue, oh, you want the health for survivability, but it's more about position that's going to get you killed rather than, oh, I didn't have an extra 200 health.
Also here, Shern, it looks like, did he use the empowered
Howdy.
E
Yeah,
to
this
get
guy
the
knows
movement
what he's
speed to get
doing.
it? There you go.
Are we smurfing here or what?
Dude,
I'm
he's
not sure what's going
42%.
on.
He's 42% win rate. Gave up on Pantheon, Shern. What's going on?
Well, I don't know how he died there. Let's check.
What
Let's
just
check
happened
back
there?
there. I'm surprised he died here. Wow. Okay, he Q autoed, which stops you in place. So yeah, bad idea.
You just need to kite. You just need to kite at the side, and
You
you
just need to
lose
walk
movement
it out.
speed.
You just
Yeah,
need
you
to
just need to
walk
walk
it
it
off.
out. Yeah. Walk it off. All right. So, bit of a disaster here. Lost the tempo. I always, whenever I see in a review, Shern, every camp up on their second rotation, I always get a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
But we understand what happened there, right? He went for the Scion play, and then he died to Scion.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
this is great. Look how
mid,
he
heavy trading.
look how he exited the camp with 5 stacks, right? Like this is perfect.
So he exits the camp, and he's like that, and then he does. Look at
5
that.
stacks.
Perfect. Clean.
I know this guy's he's putting in work. Okay, well, I think you lost concentration there because your Yasuo was getting pincered by Braum. So if you just stuck with it, I think this guy would die.
Just walk this direction.
Yeah, he's getting pincered.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
Braum, look at him. There's no way this guy's leaving. No flash.
Yeah, no flash, and he has to get this wave in, right? And he's not afraid of Ari, so this is probably a little bit of a missed opportunity, yeah?
I think he recognizes it just then, or he just realized nothing's happening. So yeah, this is unfortunate. I think it's just it's a good thing some people just don't recognize. Where mid lane, there is 2 ways to escape, or 3 ways. I guess you could walk back, but when people lean to one side, it doesn't make them safe if you can pincer, right, on both sides.
Someone's coming. Okay, someone else coming. So you can just go from there, and then they get pincered by the other person.
Exactly.
Shern, I'm personally not a fan of this control ward. This guy's basing. Someone's going to have push. He'll push the wave and clear the board, check the bush
Clear
of
the
the
ward.
ward. Right? So I always say
Yeah,
don't
that's
place
always-
control wards down that you can't defend.
Yep, 100%.
Catch this mid wave.
I wouldn't do wolves here. I'll do grump. Sorry, I wouldn't do grump here. I'll do wolves. Now it's going to
Sequence
be
in?
awkward.
It's just a
Yeah.
sequence in. Yeah.
Yeah, your golems is going to spawn now, and then your grump is going to spawn after you've done your 2K. It's going to be very awkward.
Okay, he's level 6. Didn't see anything to do bot here. Going back to his camps. I will see a lot of people try and force an alt bot here, Shern. I'm pretty happy with this. What do you think? Or do you think this is a missed opportunity?
No, this is not a missed opportunity at all. So
This is
none
awesome.
of the champs have used their dashes, right?
Mm.
And their full health. So you need to see some resources expended first.
Okay, we've got a proxy and Scion here.
Yeah, can't really deal with him right now. It's all good.
So I feel like there's a lot of kill threat on mid with Ari and Pantheon. If bot's not heavy trading using their dashes, would you think that would you be fishing for R's mid and looking at mid? I think mid's the most chaotic lane here. Would you agree?
I would say mid and bot. The problem with mid is because he has unlimited dashes as long as he has a target, right? So you have to be very aware of where he could end up, right? Because sometimes his escape isn't going backwards, right? It's actually going forwards. So it's a little tricky.
So this is where you would have done a Q here, Shern, right? To get the Mortal Will, the empowered, right? So you need to always get the 5 stacks. So you would just Q right now. So this is something he's missed. Okay. Would you help Ari shove the next wave?
Can he X? Let's see how much gold we have. Yep.
Shove next wave and base together?
I'm going to be tax. I need 150 gold for Sundered Sky. So
okay, you're just going to greedy for the Sundered Sky. Okay, so they're for the tax.
Yeah, and then the blue buff essentially if I need extra gold.
I reckon right now here, Shern, look what he's done. I reckon he's recalled. He's checked the base. He does have Sundered Sky still, and I reckon he's like, oh shit, I gotta stay on the map for Sundered Sky. Or he
Yeah,
could just be going to this.
he should have known, but yeah, the hesitation, yeah, is a killer. Like
Yeah.
you're not killing anyone here. Although if he just walks like that, maybe, but yeah. Yeah, so a lot of people might think, oh, I'm helping my team, but you're really doing yourself a disservice by putting yourself behind and maybe gaining your lead for your teammates, right? It's not a win, it's a trade. So people like be like, well, I'm helping my team. Well, no, you're trading, right? Your impact for hoping your teammate's going to be more impactful, right? Which is not a win, right? A win is a 1-0, not 1-1, right? So just yeah, a good example to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm stopping their bases, but you also need a base too. So it's sort of like you're not winning in this scenario.
Yeah, and there's nothing to do aggressively here. You can't do Dragon, Jinx and Arya base in. This is why, as you said, Sean, it would be so much cleaner if you taxed, recalled, then deployed back on the map, right?
Sun
So
and
this
Sky,
is...
ulti opportunities.
Yeah, and then look for ulti opportunities, right? Because all your camps are down. So this is a massive like review point. I think this is really, really detrimental for his gameplay. He's just lost his flash. He's lost his engage tool. He's baited his team. Disaster. He's forced Ari to TP. Look at this.
Doesn't have
Catastrophe.
Sundered Sky. Doesn't have Sundered Sky.
Doesn't
When
have,
he
he
should.
doesn't have Sundered Sky. So this is a
It's
catastrophe.
literally the worst when you're like 50 gold off 100 and oh wait, it's
Yeah.
not 200, but yes, this is literally the worst base possible when you're so close because this is literally, I mean, the difference between an uncompleted item and full first item is like a very big power gap. That was nice.
So you happy
Notice
with this ult here?
Yeah, notice how he got his W cancelled there. That's something to watch out for.
Yeah. So that's
Right.
with the wind wall, right?
The Yasuo Q, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Q, sorry, yeah. W went on cooldown.
Yeah, it's brutal. Oh, excellent. Yeah, good.
So what's he doing well here?
He's spacing well, right? He's not giving Trundle just complete standstill auto attacks, right? He's moving, like he's spacing the auto attack range because he actually has higher auto attack range. The empowered E here is like okay, but I wish he just would have waited for his stun to come back up because the autos come back up. But yeah, the first part of the fight when he was versing the Trundle was very well played. And yeah, look, he's spacing, right?
Only if you did this with Sion earlier, Shern.
I wish he did. Wish he did. Dragon's a good call just because his teammates are
Teammates
here,
are hitting it. Yeah.
and you have an
teammates weren't
execute.
there.
If
Yeah.
he doesn't, oh mate, you didn't get mate. That is illegal. You
So-
should win every single smite fight
So you smite first and then Q. You time, you smite, it's like smite Q, right?
instantly, right? So some of my VOD reviews, like sometimes sometimes I have slow hands, right? And I Q smite and I don't actually get the execute damage because my Q goes off before my smite, and it's a disaster. But in this case, he didn't even attack.
So what HP could you smite at here? So how much damage does the execute actually do?
Now, this is not a question of. It's a question of how much AD you have essentially, right? So, and if you have an empowered Q or normal Q. So it's basically here, I would say the execute range would have been, if your smite's 900, it would have been 1300.
Okay. So it would be, literally right now. I mean, you could just Q it, yeah. All right. Again, you're saying that's a good dragon because your team was hitting, it was helping you, but if your team was not helping you, you should have like recalled and just like, get back to your camps and keep
Probably
up.
went back to your probably could sustain and go back to your camps and not need a recall. Yeah.
You would, because I guess you don't need to because your ult's down, right? So that's the perfect time to clear your camps, right? And then get back on the map with your ults. Is that why? You would say maybe you don't even care about resetting for Sundered Sky because you're not making a play anyway with the
Yes.
your
exactly.
ult.
Just finish my camp cycle as soon as possible. You know.
Okay, so this is where you would do the max damage combo, right, Shern? Where you walk up and you auto attack Q first, right?
Yeah, he didn't do that. And you would have a huge advantage here in the 1v1 because you have a full item complete and he doesn't. But as you can see, this is why the matchup's hard. A little bit of disrespect, right? Unlike even though he has a full item ad, look what Chondo just did to him, right? You full combo, you kite him, and then you keep walking forward without any spacing ability left. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. He's going to eat you up.
So I feel like this game was definitely in our control, Sean. Just a couple of things polishing up, and his Pantheon would be looking awesome, right?
Yeah, I'm impressed. Like, definitely impressed with mechanics, like how he's functioning, operating the champion. Yeah.
All right, so these R's look like, Sean, what you're talking about, where you struggled with these type of R's.
Yes. That guy, so see that last minion? He can dash in any direction, right? And if you, yeah, this is an ult where it's not even good to ult, right? He has so many
You could go that way, you go that way, you go that way.
Like, it's like you don't have mind control, so it's just gonna be difficult to really, And we've talked about the low value kills before, right? He's pushed the wave in already.
Yeah, he's already got the wave in. It's a low value kill. I feel like all of his ults this game were actually... I know he got some kills situations, but he is constantly R'ing with the waves in. So he's not getting anything from it, right? Like, yes. Constantly shoving the waves in. So
it should be the last resort.
Yeah, that's something that, again, Emerald, I mean, even Diamond players struggle with, is that they think they're getting kills and they're progressing the game, but the enemy's shoving the wave in so they don't lose any minions, so they're very low-value kills. And that's not to say don't be too rigid and not pick up the kills, right?
Yes, exactly.
As you said, it's
Consider
the
your
last
options.
priority. Consider your other options, yes. Because we're burning a lot of resources for this guy, right?
Yeah, flash ults, and it's going to be 300 gold.
And Jinx died bot for the Braum roam.
Yeah,
we're not even going to get anything for that mid.
More. Yeah, Jinx is going to lose plate and CS, a lot more CS than what Yasuo did.
And we don't want to be stuck top, right? Don't we want to keep playing towards bot, as you said, Shern, mid and bot, right?
Yeah, I mean, stay flexible if you can. Like, you can still kill a Sion easily as Pantheon, right? Because of your W. That's the great thing about Pantheon, so yeah.
You do percentage health damage and stuff, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We're losing the smite battles.
We're losing
the guaranteed smite battles. This is not good. I guess a little leeway because you didn't see him coming, but yeah, you should hold your Q for the execute because you know that they can come.
Okay, so Ari makes a play bot. You lose the Herald, and look at because of that smite loss there, Shern. We lose mid tower because of that. We die. It's brutal.
We lose the first dragon. We lose the first Herald.
It's so painful. You know, we're so close. We're so close to the game looking so differently.
Oh, yeah. Like, this would be 100% the feedback if we're having a review right now. Like, there is so many good moments. It's just the little things with the smite, with the ulti timing and usage. The skirmishing itself is, it's good. It's very good.
So this is probably just a miskill on Sion here, yeah?
No. I don't
you like
think
the
it's
camps?
a good idea.
You think it's going to take too long? He's going to
whittle him down. Yeah, let him play the 1v1 out a little bit. And then
you can come clean up. I see. Cool. Makes sense. Okay, GP's trying to whittle him down there, Shern.
Yeah, this is perfect. Like you shouldn't be coming right now. I mean, the decision to go in is probably the problem there. Although, I mean, if that was a shutdown, it's worth. But yeah, they have first move from mid. GP was kiting the wrong way, right? He probably should be kiting towards. Looks counterintuitive, but yeah, should be kiting towards their opponent's base, considering they were just up at tier 2 mid.
Yeah, they're all there, so you got to meet it up with your team again. Disaster. Absolute disaster. Game starting to slip away from, our hands here. Okay, I guess we can review his next couple ults here. So he comes top.
Perfect. So yeah, I mean, when we're this far behind, like we talked about low value kills, but you know, it's still the last resort, which is still a good option, right? We just need to get gold back on the board.
So this build, you don't like the Thormail here. You'd rather an item
Yeah,
first.
so he's seeing a lot of healing, right? So his response is Thornmail, right? Which is excellent in the sense of the idea, but a more efficient option is the shield cut, right? Because they're the
This is,
shield
yeah, a lot of
Yasuo,
shields. So this should have
Shen,
been Serpents into black. Is that right? So Serpents into Black Cleaver, you would build.
yes.
Okay. So this is really going to hurt his scaling, it seems, like in these fights. It feels like he's going
His
to do like no
potential
damage.
damage, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, he messed up his empowered there, obviously.
So as you say, the shields this game is Barrier on Tristana, Scion Shield, Shen Shield, Yasuo Shield,
And shield bow.
and Shield Bow. Ah, yeah, of course. Yeah, so this is a really high value Serpent's Fang game.
Yeah, so he's playing front to back, excellent. He's just having some trouble using his empowered properly. Like he's just kind of throwing it everywhere without any intention. Ends up working though, but yeah, needs to work on his intention with his empowereds. What he wants to
So
do with them.
So think about the more intention again. So you're saying the difference between using the W. So the Q is more so if you're just looking to just output a lot of damage and just kill
Dominate.
someone.
Yeah,
W is for just the general max damage
the bread
combo,
and butter. Yeah,
the bread and butter, and then E is if you're getting hit by like ranged champions.
yeah. Timing the abilities. Yep. Or a combo.
So this game there's not many ranged champions. So you would say you would probably be seeing more Ws and Qs empowered in these fights.
No, you'll still see like we talked about in the comment section. You still want to use your empowered E regardless of melee range.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, unless right the fight's won and you're just looking to clean up. Right, if the fight's still in motion, there's opportunity for both sides to win. You're going to be using your empowered E a lot of the time because sometimes it also helps you gap close, right? Which in turn is going to actually give you more damage output.
The movement speed. So you say the
Yes.
movement speed feels
Yes,
feels really
yeah.
nice. The empowered E for the
Yeah,
movement
look at
speed
that.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good example here, right? Look how fast he is. I wonder what his movement speed goes up to. So 400, so it goes 566.
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy, dude. It goes from 400
Whoa.
to 566, dude. He's sprinting around with that.
It's like
power.
when you're playing Mario Kart and you go over the speed boost, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Nice,
Yeah,
dude. He's sitting on
perfect.
the jinx. This is awesome,
Oh,
right?
look at that. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Right? He times his E. Look at the E after this. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Has to use
So,
normal stun here. That's
so
fine.
he's got the empowered, and then now he is, right?
Yeah, look, he blocks
all
the
the
full
damage.
bomb, full bomb, like 5 stacks of Tristana bomb.
Clean. Very
Yeah,
clean.
very good.
Sound TPs, kills them. I don't even
Alright,
think
we
this is
got.
that bad of deaths. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. He panicked there and used his E. He could have done the same thing to Tristana again, right? Where he'll hold your E for the fifth stack.
I see.
And he probably could have outplayed that, but yeah.
All right, so classic ADC. Bot instead of midwave for some reason when Baron's up.
Yep, we're going to give that one. Charity work right there. Oh, beautiful.
This is good front to back, right? This is great.
Oh,
Jinx
this
is
is,
loving
dude,
this.
yeah, I mean, he's playing these fights very, very well. Like, yes.
Perfectly, right? Peeling Jinx
Yes,
front
yes.
to back.
Almost perfect. I mean, he shouldn't flash the silent stun because he's going to get stunned and the Q cancel. I don't think you recognize that, but yeah. Other than that, like, beautiful highlight of utilizing, your E Conqueror stacks and just playing front to back, yeah.
So this is the R with dashes again that you talk about. So I think R usage definitely needs some work here, right?
Yes. and using your E like that when you don't have your empowered. I think he didn't realize he doesn't have empowered. He tried to get this. He thought he had empowered either.
Well, 500 IQ bait. Jinx is popping off.
Really good bait by Braum. Saves the E for the last second.
All right, back to our Pantheon POV. Okay, looks like Dragon's going to be the next fight here. I'm really interested to see how he plays this ult here. But I feel like he doesn't really want to go forward with ult. He wants to just peel Jinx, right? So, with these fights, would you just be not really ulting, really?
No, I would ulti if my teammates have a better position. So,
Okay.
if it allows Jinx to auto, yes, I will do that. Now, this is bad. It works out, I think. Okay, no, it doesn't. Well,
Jinx
there
is
you go.
dead. Plays done, right?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted it, right? Like, as soon as you jump on the trundle like that, you've now lost threat. And
Yes.
if he's not in threat of dying and you just used your full combo, well, guess what? Now they have threat on you because you have no threat. You're not a
So this
champion
would
right
be a good W if he had his team to follow up, right? And they could sort of like one-shot the
now. The
trundle.
threat of the kill. The threat of the kill,
Yes,
yes.
the threat of the kill, because you chunk him down, right? But because his team's nowhere near, this is a really bad W.
Yes, you've just given up your threat. Like, you have an atomic bomb and now you said, I've disabled it. And now they're like, okay, well, we're just going to walk forward into your territory.
Trundle's full HP, and there you go. That's it. That's the game.
That's unfortunately, yes. And then Gangplank goes on a montage, I think, or something, and then we have one more fight.
All right,
Oh no,
last fight.
Pantheon. Yeah.
I'll do a look at that Pantheon if that was a better ult.
Yeah,
He's
that's
just
it.
picking up the stragglers, right?
Yep.
Yep, it's fine. Okay, next situation here.
Go back again because something happened here. GP died. Okay, GP died bot 1v1. Okay, so now it's 45. Okay, let's see what happens. Yeah, so same theme again, right? You're not a pure 1v1 champ. You shouldn't just be jumping on people for fun. You just
Especially at this stage of the game, you don't have the damage. You need your teammates to follow up on your damage, right?
Yeah, even if you're going the Serpent's Fang build, like, you're still primarily a bruiser.
And look at this. We're fighting without our Jinx.
Yeah.
All right, so some really good stuff in there, Shern. Definitely needs to polish up some of the ults. And, yeah, there's these mid to late game fights. Looks like he completely lost the plot. You said more intentional usage with his empowered abilities?
Yes.
What else?
And positioning. So, relative to your teammates, right? You're not a 1v1 champ, so you can't think like a Kha'Zix or a Trundle or a Nocturne where you just want to stand still and hit people. You need to... His spacing was great. It's just there's times where his spacing of where his teammates were relative to him were very poor.
All right. So, Shern, to finishing off here, just a couple of questions. If someone is looking, what advice would you give to a Pantheon player? I mean, I guess we've sort of really covered a lot of good stuff here, but just really summarize it in an answer here. If someone's looking to pick up Pantheon, what should they start with? What would the big 20% they should focus on?
So what should they focus on?
Just the basics there.
I'd say
they're stacking up their passive. Just learning how to stack up their passive. Your mortal, whatever it is, mortal will.
Yeah, I'd say the utilization of your empowereds. See how they function and how they can affect the game, right? I think a lot of what everyone knows is just the key, right? The spear. Everyone knows about the spear. Everyone gets the dopamine hit when people get low in last hit, but the other part of the kits is where people seem to understand less, I'd say.
Talking about your learning journey, Shern, what did you have an aha moment with this champion clicked? Did you struggle to learn Pantheon at the beginning?
Yeah,
or was it pretty smooth sailing?
No, I struggled. So I'd get really far ahead and then I'd lose, right? So that was mainly to do with ultimate and to do with the build and my runes. So, um, you know, you can often people can say build doesn't matter, but it definitely does because your build not only matters in sense of like how you play the fight, but it also matters because of your ability to like understand what your champion does. So I was building like this guy. I was building alacrity, uh, attack speed shard as well in my runes. So I was going full attack speed before, and I thought it was good, right? Because I'm clearing fast. It's nice, but
Mm,
the reality is in the fights, look how many times he auto attacks, like literally
mm.
once or twice, right? And that is not warranting over. That doesn't warrant this over haste and double AD. So just the identity of the champion, right? Like what you're actually doing. You're not DPSing, right? This is a DPS build. This is what a Zinzao would go, a Trundle would go, and this is not like what you do. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest things I took away from my journey.
And I want you to be a bit of a salesman here for Pantheon. Get more people playing Pantheon here, Shern, because you're loving Shern right now in Korean Challenger. Why should people play Pantheon?
I think the main reason why people should play Pantheon is because of the fact that you just have a point and click stun and you have a global, right? I think these are two of my favorite things. A little different to what you would usually play as a bruiser, where you're traditionally trying to force the 1v1. You're sort of almost playing like an AP champ where you're trying to be evasive and have some finesse. So it's basically for people who want to have a little bit of finesse and make people look stupid, I guess.
All right, so final shout outs here, Shern. You coach a couple of times a week in the Jungle Academy. Link below if anyone's interested in that. Anything you want to finish off this video with here, Shern?
No, exactly what you said, Mr. Mott. I'm coaching twice a week, and yeah, I'll see you guys in there if any of you in there.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Shern. We'll see you guys on our next episode.